These are the most insane punishments used by the Incas. There is more than one way to skin a cat, as the old adage goes. What about skinning someone? It turns out that there were a variety of methods for executing guilty men and women in the ancient world, with skinning being one of them. Want to know more about it? Follow this video till the end. Number 1. The Bold Bull. The Athenian Socrates, perhaps the most renowned person of ancient Greece, was murdered in old age by being forced to swallow hemlock. This type of indirect execution was characteristic of Athenian people's lethal punishment. They may be sent into the woods and die of exposure, or they could be tossed down a chasm and die of their injuries. However, one Greek tyrant is said to have utilized something even more evil. Phalaris, the tyrant of Acragas in Sicily, was honored with a device sculpted by the Attic sculptor Paralus in the 6th century BC. This was known as the Bold Bull. The condemned was put into the hollow bull, which was made completely of bronze and the size of a genuine bull, via a little entrance in the rear. A massive fire would be kindled underneath, and the poor individual would be slowly cooked alive. Inside the blazing bull was a system of pipes that translated the burning victim's cries into mooing from the bull's mouth. Even the infamously brutal dictator Phalaris was taken aback by the gadget and decided to put it to the test by placing its designer inside the bull. Number 2. Death caused by molten metal. Mosaic law in ancient Israel made 36 offenses punishable by death. Those found guilty of incest and adultery with the married daughter of a priesthood member were burned, but not from the outside. First, the guilty person would be strangled with a rope by 2 key witnesses in the case. It was a soft rope since it was seen as more compassionate, not to create extra pain with rougher material. When the condemned strangling led him to gasp for breath, molten lead was poured down his neck. Poena culi. Today, getting the sack implies getting fired, but in ancient Rome, getting the sack might have referred to the gruesome lethal sentence poena culi. The accused person was flogged or beaten before being sewn into a big sack and dumped into a river or sea. They would not, however, be alone in the sack. They may be accompanied by a snake, a chicken, an ape, or a dog. Flaying. Flaying is the process of removing the victim's skin, generally by creating incisions with a knife in the victim's legs, buttocks, and chest, and then removing the skin as intact as possible. Flaying a person alive has been used as a means of execution for many years, notably in ancient Rome, medieval England, and the Ottoman Empire. The monarchs of the Assyrian Empire from 911 to 609 BC enjoyed beheading their adversaries, particularly rebel leaders. The tradition, which represented the conquest of an adversary, was clearly a source of pride for the empire. The Rasem cylinder is a contemporaneous account of the military exploits of 7th century BC monarch Ashurbanipal, and it was written in one section. Number 5. The waistline chop. Li Si was an important person in early imperial China. He was a writer, politician, and philosopher who fell foul of influential political advisor Xiao Gao, who had him murdered according to the old 5 pains. Li Si's nose was taken first, then his foot, then his hand. He was emasculated, meaning his penis and testicles were removed, and he was eventually chopped in 2 at the waist. The waist chop entailed an executioner employing a big bladed weapon to slice the unhappy prisoner in half at the waist, missing critical organs and resulting in a long, excruciating death. In China, the waist chop was not legally abolished until the 18th century. 6th, an eye for an eye. The focus was on balance during the reign of the First Babylonian Empire in modern-day Iraq. The talio concept, the rule of revenge, was important. Your teeth would be knocked out if you knocked out someone else's teeth. Rapists would be castrated, and perjurers would lose their tongues. It did not, however, apply to everyone equally. A free man who assaults or even murders a slave is generally just punished. This kind of punishment was also used in the death sentence. Anyone discovered looting a house fire would be executed immediately by being thrown into the blazing structure. Burglars would also be hung at the location where they had burgled. Line 218 of Hammurabi's Babylonian Code states that if a surgeon kills a slave due to negligence, he must only restore, i.e. replace the slave. Hey, that's all. Like our video and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.